Hello, I am Donny and I am the cute one.
And I am Chelsea, and I am the cute one.
TGIF, cuties.
TGIF, what was going on over there?
I remembered I didn't use the bathroom, so I knew I had just enough time during the theme song to run and go. That's show business.
Yeah, the show must go on. Thank God you didn't have to break out that Nalgene bottle, because unfortunately the cuties would know what that means.
Well, I have this.
Okay. So how was your week?
Oh, Chelsea. First of all, I was so excited for our next episode because today there is in Chelsea's Triangle, it's called, a 911 Nashville pop-up. So to celebrate the premiere of 911 Nashville, they're doing a pop-up in Chelsea Triangle. And I was so excited. I was going to go today at 2 o'clock p.m. and come back next week with stories. But they started the pop-up yesterday. So I was like, let me look into what exactly this is. And unfortunately, what this is just a food truck selling spicy chicken sandwiches. Not selling, giving them out for free, but no.
Huh.
Yeah.
What's the tie-in here, that it's so hot it's on
Spicy.
fire?
Yeah, fiery.
Okay.
But, like, even if we could have had, like, just two fake sets, one of, like, a fireman's pole, maybe, and one of, like, you climbing a ladder, if I could have got a photo opportunity from this, I really would have went all in. But, like, just a chicken sandwich, I can't.
Well, even, like, how they have at, like, an apple picking farm, where it's just a big banner that you stick your head through, and then you're one of the characters. Imagine
that would have been
you
great.
In space,
sticking
your head through Angela Bassett's body.
Or Jennifer Love Hewitt's titties on me at a 911. What's your emergency? But it is what it is. So not doing that today. Won't have a story next week. But I do have a story about this week. So Friday, I went home to see my nephew. We had a wonderful time. Instead of making him listen to Sneaker Night for content, I did make him watch Freakier Friday. And then I was like, oh, you really liked that? Let's watch The Parent Trap now. So then we saw that. So I'm just educating him on all of the important pop culture milestones.
He's so lucky to have you. And for new cuties tuning in, this is Donnie's 2-month-old nephew, who is really just learning his herstory early in life.
I did go to the doctor's appointment with him and my sister. And the doctor said that babies don't have a brain until they're 4 months old. So basically do whatever you want to them now, because then they don't remember it until 4 months. And they don't mean like, you know, show me on the doll where da-da-da-da-da. But they meant like...
That's...
What? That's where my mind went to as soon as I said it, Chelsea. What the doctor meant was, and he didn't say he doesn't have a brain. That's just how I heard it and kept repeating it. Okay. What he said was, you have until 4 months to, like, basically not sleep train him. So if, like, he's crying, pick him up. If you want to, like, sleep with him on your chest, do that. If you want to whatever, do that. But at 4 months, he will start remembering and, like, demand whatever you're giving him. So, like, if whenever he cries, you pick him up, that's what you'll be doing his whole childhood. If he doesn't go down to sleep unless he's already calmed down, that's what he'll be doing his whole childhood. So he said that at 4 months. So now I know that, like, these next 2 months is just a waste of my time.
Oh, God. And here we are, back to Donnie wasting his time.
But once he's at 4 months, we will be, like, really watching the greats.
Okay. I am curious to learn more about this doctor's philosophies, and more specifically how you are interpreting them, because a lot of what you just said, okay, we'll see how it goes. But the important thing is that the baby is learning all of Vanessa Ann Hudgens' catalog and all of the movies that
Well, not yet. Right now it's just for fun. He's not remembering anything.
It's a practice round.
Yeah. But I do love spoiling him. The doctor will be happy. He said, spoil him all you want until 4 months. I do love spoiling him. Bring a gift every time I see him. I already have a gift for next time because 6 months of sobriety was this week as well. It was Wednesday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And in an unrelated twist of fate, Wednesday was when me and my sister were going to see Hamilton with the original Aaron Burr back in it. To celebrate 10 years, Hamilton. So when we were there,
Bump.
yeah, I bought a magnet for myself, but then they also had a onesie with a lyric from the show that said, "Just like my country, I'm young, scrappy, and hungry." And I was like, oh, give me that in a 6 months. So I got the onesie. Caleb already has a gift for next time.
Love that.
Also, Chelsea, that might all sound unhinged to you, but you called me unhinged yesterday when I told you about my therapy appointment.
I did.
Which I didn't appreciate. Macy will be hearing about that as well.
You're going to be processing through my reaction to your therapy appointment in your next therapy appointment.
Yeah. Macy Gray and I were talking about how I have obsessions. I'm not an obsessive person. I have obsessions. And sometimes I'm proud of them, like seeing Ma a lot, or seeing High School Musical 13 times in theaters, or seeing Once on This Island 14 times on Broadway. Like, when it's things like that, it's funny to me. But when it is things like being interested in a man, it's not always great. It doesn't make me feel good. So we were talking about that. Is it bad to be an obsessive person if there's so much of it that I do enjoy? Whatever. But then I also said, I don't like when it's weaponized against me. Like, if you know all the good parts, if you know that Donny loves sneaker night enough to get it tattooed on him, if you know he saw the show 14 times on Broadway, then you know, oh, he's an obsessive person. So if I ever seem obsessed, then you can say like, oh, well, you're just obsessed. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes I'm not obsessed with you. Sometimes you're providing this thing that, like, is making me seem obsessed, but I'm not. For instance, I gave this example. I gave a real life example, and then just in case she didn't get it, I broke it down to, like, a fake one. So the real life example was, you can say I'm a jealous person, but if I know you cheated on me, that's not jealousy. That's just you being a piece of shit and me not being okay with it. That's not jealousy.
That's just you no longer having my trust. So you can't say that I am a not trusting person because you are the one who took that trust away.
Yes. But if I was insecure about jealousy, then you throwing that in my face is like getting in my head. So then, this is the other example I gave her, which you said was a problem.
I didn't say a problem. I said unhinged. And unhinged is like literally our personal brand. Unhinged to me is not an insult.
Well, she laughed and then said she's going to save it to use as examples. And her clientele is not less than 4 months. So she wants them to remember this. I said, like, if I was a serial killer and I went to dinner with you and I was cutting my food and you said, oh, you cut that like a serial killer. And I said, it's just chicken. Like, who cares about what I do the other times? I'm just cutting a piece of chicken. How do you want me to cut it?
So, cuties in the chat, we are live on YouTube. Please weigh in. And do you co-sign my assertion that coming so quickly to his brain as an example to highlight the situation that he's going through in real life, it's unhinged? I'm not saying it's a bad analogy. You know that I love a convoluted, long-winded metaphor that I don't always land the plane. You landed the plane, which is more than I can say.
Like Angela Bassett.
Like Angela Bassett, you are landing that plane with or without a pilot's license, with the roof of that plane blown right off. No, I just feel like for your mind to immediately go to a serial killer cutting chicken is objectively unhinged.
Well, you can think that. Anyway, Chelsea, what do you got?
Well, first I want to say that the cuties are being diplomatic in the comments. They're saying it's a little unhinged. But I think they liked the analogy. Maybe they'll be sharing it with their therapist. We're here to provide value to you, cuties. We're a self-help podcast. We're rebranding. Hopefully we'll get more shout-outs on Reddit that way when you say that we're your Sherpa to mental health. Do as we say, not as we do.
No, you can do that too.
I had quite a week. And I get into it a little bit more over on Patreon because it's a lot of like mess that isn't really conducive to a fun comedy podcast situation.
But I will say about that, I can't even imagine how you're using it in life, but I've personally used it about 5 times as a Uno reverse.
Used what?
What happened to you? Yeah. Like if people are like, this, and this. I'm like, well, sorry, but this happened to Chelsea, so.
Oh, yeah. This is the week. If you want to have the trauma Olympics with me, bring it on.
But it's not even my Olympics, but it still works. It just shuts people up.
Yeah, like you think you're complaining? My good friend is going through it.
So anyway,
what I can talk about here to the side, can we do it?
Oh, there she is.
little baby angel.
That looks like a wet towel.
It's just more millennial gray.
No, I meant AB herself. It looked like she just had a towel on the floor. What if that was a whole scheme?
That I was
and you
just
didn't really have a
pretending.
dog, and then you were like, look.
I've just been taking the same courses that the staff on cruise ships take, where they can like make towels look like little various animals. I'm like, here she is. What would you do? What would you have done if I was having like a Lars and the Real Girl like psychotic break, and I logged on a couple of TGIFs ago, and I like said, here she is, and I like lifted up a towel animal of a dog, and I really was like acting like this dog was real. Would you go along with it? What would you have done?
I would go along with it until I visit you on Monday, and then I would just unwrap it.
Now, here's what's the important part of the YouTube lives is that we learn things. Now, again, we're not guaranteeing the retention of the facts. We got here because I said the word Sherpa, so Victor in the chat is letting us know that the Sherpas abandon your body on the slopes of Mount Everest if you ever die during the ascent. And I really do feel like
that's us.
Another great metaphor, because that is us bringing you along. And
then if you have a pet cat, it would eat you.
Eat your face.
Oh, that's what they eat? Only your face?
I don't know. I just always hear that they steal the breath from babies and they eat your face if you die.
Oh, I thought the whole thing, surely. Anyway,
I mean,
continue.
if they get hungry
Your dog is real.
My dog is real, not just a towel animal. Ooh, we are on one today, cuties. Welcome to the show. If you're new, pull up a chair. Stay around a while. That comment we got from our last week's YouTube episode where she said, this was a tough listen. I don't know if she made it back. I don't know if we're any better this week. So my real life dog, who is not a towel animal, has been such a baby angel. She's like right by my side. She's got a little bit of separation anxiety. The one thing that we've been dealing with is, and it's completely opposite of Lonnie, like all of the stuff that I got used to with Lonnie, completely different with AB. The one thing with AB is that she has separation anxiety and she hates her crate. So luckily, she's not really ever home alone for an extended period of time. Like the longest she's home alone on any given day is like an hour. Okay. But every time she's in the crate, she loses her mind. So we've been doing little like test runs of like, I'll go for a walk around the neighborhood and I'll leave her out, not in her crate, just to see what she's doing. And I've been texting you, like, this dog is an angel. She still doesn't bark except for when Dr. Bald's on his skateboard. She's great with the girls. She's learned sit. She's learned stay. She even, when I give her her food in the morning, I tell her to sit, stay, and then she doesn't go and eat the food until I say bon appetit, and then she goes and eats. Like, she's so good, and she's very smart. So I'm sitting here just bragging away. Finally, I have a child who listens. So what I didn't realize is that I've been Ocean's 11. There has been a heist, a scheme, a plot. I have been bamboozled by this cutie patootie. She has been plotting. She has been scheming. She has been casing the joint because she lured me into a false sense of security. And I said to myself, okay, she's done my little 15-minute tests as I'm walking around the neighborhood. Surely she can handle being home alone from 3:15 to 4:15. When Dr. Bald gets home. I leave for work at 3:15. Dr. Bald and the girls get home at 4:15. I'll leave her out. I like shut all the bathroom doors, shut our bedroom doors, kind of like cleaned up and like kind of thought to myself, if I were a dog, what chaos would I get into? Donny, this dog got into all the places that previously I was under the impression you needed thumbs to access. I think she's been practicing. I think that she has been doing her little dress rehearsals because in that hour, she broke into our pantry, which requires you to open it. She ate all of the human food and all of her dog treats. She had opened packets of things, didn't rip through it. They were opened. They were opened like they didn't even do the elementary school, like you pop the bag of chips to open it. It was like opened. She ate a pound of almonds, Donny. And then I'm like, great. So like this dog who weighs like 10 pounds at this point has just eaten God knows how many pounds of human food and dog food.
What was the shit like?
Huge. Now, she didn't get sick. I do think
Okay.
she has a stomach of steel. We called the vet and they just said, like, monitor it. She didn't get into grapes. She didn't get into chocolate. It should be okay. But just like if she's seeming lethargic or unwell, bring her in. And she still, again, a good girl. She went to the door and let us know she had to go out to take these massive, huge dinosaur dumps. Felt like I had Clifford the big red dog as my dog, taking those huge stinkers. But I was like, this bitch has played me. But yeah, so Aunt Becky was finally naughty.
That's crazy.
She said, I see those school snacks those girls pack in their lunches every day, and I would like some goldfish. Thank you.
Wow. Good on you, Aunt Becky.
Shall we move on to recommendations?
Let's do it.
I have one this week.
Oh, okay.
So I want to recommend the brand Little Ouchies. And they are
What is
fidgets. They're fidgets.
What is a fidget?
Like oh, yeah. So a fidget is like for kids and sometimes adults who have like ADHD or like dysregulation stuff. It's stuff for them to fidget with. Like fidget spinners or like there's like little squishies that you can squish. And so my oldest daughter, Coco, has like her whole fidget bin at school and her sensory stuff or whatever. But one thing we've been struggling with is like skin picking. And I mean, apple tree, I'm the same person. If I get a mosquito bite, I will be itching that sucker until it bleeds. So we've been trying to work with her. And so Little Ouchies is a brand where they have fidgets that have like little spikes on them. And so it emulates like kind of like self-harm in a way, like the same feeling that the satisfaction of like picking a scab, it emulates that, but like in a safe way. And we've tried everything. We've tried like picking fidgets, we've tried like other things. And I've got to shout out Little Ouchies because this was like the first week that she didn't pick at all.
Oh, I'm looking.
So shout out to Little Ouchies. And if any cuties out there have kids or themselves that dabble in some of that like self-harm type of stuff, it's really helpful.
Now, I don't know the algorithm rules, but I'm sure saying that word that you just said repeatedly probably isn't might get us flagged. But again, we can't be out here saying grape for everything.
I know, my word. And you know what? It speaks to the larger issue of censorship. And
you're right.
The hootenanny that we have to go through to be heard.
Also, Chelsea, now on the other side of it, it's wonderful. I might get a product like this. But one, you said, I want to advertise or whatever word you said. I want to shout out Little Ouchies who are fidgets. I said, what? It was just a bunch of, I thought you were truly making this up because you normally don't have recommendations. So I thought you were just finding like random words to say.
Maybe I will start throwing that in. It'll be like the game we played where I would tell you like two bands that I'm actually listening to, and then I would make up a third band, and you'd have to tell me which is real. We'll play that game during recommendations. Some weeks I'm shouting out real companies named Little Ouchies, and some weeks maybe I'm just saying words.
I love that. Mm-hmm. I was on a date last night, and he mentioned 2 truths and a lie, and I was like, I'm not playing that. He didn't want to either, thank God. He just wanted to talk ish about 2 truths and a lie. But when he brought it up, it gives me such anxiety.
Why?
I don't know.
Because you're a liar?
No, but like the lie is always better than the truth. So then I feel like I played myself. Like I'm terrible at, he did do this. Like what's a fun fact about yourself? Like I don't know. And then his was that he was struck by lightning. So then anything I say after that is going to sound bad.
Yeah, I feel like he's got to find a new opener for that because that is a great fact to share.
Yeah.
But it's always going to make your
Let me go
feel...
first. Let me say I used to be the mouse at Chuck E. Cheese, and I would request them wear the costume when hot dads came in so I could hug them. And then you say, oh, that's really cool. I got struck by lightning.
Mm-hmm.
What,
Well, you
Chelsea?
know what they said in Sweet Home Alabama? Lightning don't strike the same place twice.
So he's safe from that, at least. Now, my recommendation is Crushmore, the book by the podcast people Pod Crushed. Here it is. It comes out on the 7th, but it's a book of essays, and they take turns writing them. So, like, Penn Badgley writes one, then Nava writes one, then Sophie writes one. And, like, some are funny, but some are, like, really sad. It is so good.
That's awesome. I wonder if they would come back on the show, because we did cover Easy A with them. So go back and listen to that episode, Cutie. And they're marvelous. They're people that like every inch of success that they've gotten many inches, miles even of success. They've blown up, but they are like good people that I'm rooting for and like really happy that they have had all the success they deserve.
Me too.
You know?
I love them. They were a fun tie-in because we covered a Penn Badgley movie, so it made sense to cover that. But I think they would be great for a TGIF also.
I think so too.
Perfect.
Marvelous. Well, one more reminder. Speaking of TGIF, we are live on YouTube right now. If you're catching the replay, come join us live in the comments, 11 a.m. Eastern every Friday. The comments are popping. And just the timing, because we do get asked, the live episode goes up. It's immediately available to rewatch. And then at some point later in the afternoon, the main feed version is out. So if you're jonesing for a fix of I Am the Cute One, just go to YouTube and watch it right after if you can't make it live.
Please do. This week, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban announced their divorce. The cast of Laguna Beach announced a reunion on Roku. Jane Goodall passed away. Rihanna had a baby. Nicki Minaj and Cardi B got into an online spat. And Heather and Terry Dubrow educated the masses on Ozempic vulva. Well, thank God.
The more you know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go first or second for headlines this week? I feel like we have a lot to get to.
We do. Let me go first because I was told recently that when we had our reality TV heavy episode, we lost some people. So we're getting to reality TV, but let's cover something else first.
Sure.
And that something else is Taylor Swift's Life of a Showgirl album. It dropped at midnight. When I was on my date, I specifically told him I need to leave at 11 so I'm home by midnight and can listen. And he was great about it.
Wow.
So this is the first Taylor Swift album. You may recall I didn't like when she was Black and White in the Woods. I was not a fan. So that was 3 albums in a row we had that.
When she put on the prairie dress, you said, I'm out.
Yeah, it was more the Black and White. I could deal with the prairie dress. We had a prairie dress in Country Strong. Leighton Meester got me with a prairie dress. But being in the woods, it was a little too trad wife for me. We were Black and White in the woods with a prairie dress. So she lost me for 3 albums straight.
All she had to do was churn her own butter. And before we get too deep into this comments section and into this topic, I do want to just, again, gently set the vibe of, number one, the thing about this podcast is we just speak our opinions out loud, loudly, proudly, and sometimes wrongly. Number two, we are both part-time Swifties. We dabble, we enjoy, we're not doing the scavenger hunts of clues. And we are going to sometimes say some things negative about your queen. So just take that with it what you will. And there are plenty of other podcasts where, you know, we can all just be flicking our bean to T Swift. So I don't know. Go over there if you need that.
Because it ain't going to be here. So this is the first Taylor Swift album I've liked since Lover. So goodbye, Jack. Welcome back, Max. I needed you. I don't know if the world needed you, but I certainly did. Music is fun again.
I love Jack Antonoff.
I know you do.
I love the format. I love him, but I do think it's a case of when friends start to work together for too long and one of them becomes a yes man. Like, I feel like in other albums she's released recently, she needed somebody to say, hey, let's maybe polish some things up. Let's workshop some things. Do we need 32 songs? Can we make some cuts anywhere? And I feel like maybe they were just having so much fun girl bossing together in that studio that those edits weren't necessarily made.
I would agree with that because this is the most fun I've had since 2019. First of all, ruin the friendship. Everyone was ready. Everyone was ready. Now, there were people online before the song came out that were like, it's just going to be about like ruining a friendship by like liking him too much or ruining a friendship about whatever. And people were like, no, it's going to be about Blake. It's going to be about Blake. It's not about Blake. It is about like wanting to kiss your friend that has a girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. But Canceled possibly is about Blake. Someone on Threads said that Canceled is about to become the favorite song of all the worst people you know. And that does track because it is my favorite. And I was already thinking of the future, Chelsea. When I'm on Big Brother, I want my fans to make music video edits of me to this song.
Okay.
Lyrics are a little something like this. Good thing I like my friends canceled. I like them cloaked in Gucci and in scandal. At least you know exactly who your friends are. They're the ones with matching scars. So this could be about Blake Lively and saying, like, she was there for me when I was canceled about the Kanye snake stuff. And now I have to be there for her when she's canceled. It could be about her, or it could be about Brittany Mahomes. It could go either way. She does keep her circle cancelable. So it really could be anything. But what I'm hoping is it's not about Blake. And I hope Blake listens and sees the like headlines. This is about Blake. And she's like, let me go listen. And then she's like, oh no, that's about Brittany Mahomes. This is not about me. Because I think even more than having a song written about you, what's better punishment is Taylor Swift not writing a song about you.
Yeah. Because that's like the equivalent of a parent being like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Yes.
That's like, I don't even care enough to write down words about you in my notebook and record about it. You're so done that you're just done.
Yes. Because that one, again, could be about Blake, probably is about Brittany Mahomes, but then she also has a song called Actually Romantic. So Charlie XCX had a song, Sympathy is a Knife, on her Brat album about being insecure around Taylor and not wanting to be around her, and like how Taylor made her feel anxious and stuff because she compared herself. And like she even said in the song, like, it's mental, but like it's how I feel. So Taylor Swift heard this and made a diss track. Basically, like, if you're anxious now, you ain't seen nothing yet, honey. So she said it's actually romantic that she thinks about her so much. And the lyrics are, I've heard you called me boring Barbie when the coke's got you brave. High-fived my ex and then said you're glad he ghosted me. Wrote me a song saying it makes you sick to see my face. Some people might be offended, but it's actually sweet all the time you spent on me. And it is punching down. And like, again, Charlie XCX only said she's anxious and insecure. So for you to then like hear that and say like, you're on coke, like that, that probably isn't the best thing to do. But Blake Lively, Leah Michelle will tell you, I do love an evil woman. So this is my second favorite song on the album.
Okay. Yeah, it is messy. And I go back and forth because I think that Taylor Swift has made her whole brand being a basic bitch. Like, I think that part of the reason why that girl is a billionaire and yet still dresses like she's bargain hunting at TJ Maxx is because, like, it is her brand to be relatable.
Yeah.
And I think in her relatability, sometimes it hits because I do connect to the basic bitchness, and sometimes it makes me like tilt my head a little like, are you in on it, or is this just how basic you are? Like, one of the lyrics in one of the songs is talking about like girl bossing too close to the sun, which is a funny line.
That's been canceled, yeah.
But I'm like, it's hilarious. And also I feel like it's, are you being ironic with it, or are you really saying girl boss too close to the sun?
But I think it doesn't matter. Much like Halle Berry's acting, if you're laughing, it's a comedy. You know what I mean?
In good faith, Donny, spend another episode fighting about whether or not Halle Berry is a good comedic actress. The cuties can tune into our BAPS recap for that one.
No, but I think it is the same thing, though. Like, whether it is earnest or whether she went out of her way to, like, let me see what basic is, I still think it's the same product. It's an iconic line. Here you are quoting it. The last two songs I want to talk about are where she talks about dicks.
Somewhere the Reddit thread Gaylor is self-imploding again. They're screaming into pillows.
Well, first she talks about her own. So they probably got excited about that. Father figure, she talks about getting her albums back, like the custody of them back. And she talks about, like, if we're having a dick contest, mine is bigger. So love that. But then she decides in the song Wood to talk about Travis's dick with lyrics that go a little something like, redwood tree, it ain't hard to see. His love was the key that opened my thighs. Okay.
There's the lyricist of our generation, as I'm told.
Now, I do want to say another one of my favorites.
And here, I've talked a lot of shit just because, you know, banter is fun and stirring the pot is great. I will say I am also a person who I just like music in general. I rarely hear an album and really dislike it. And from the quick, like, listen through that I did, I enjoy it. I don't feel like we're quite in that like party pop era that I feel like we were promised.
Yeah.
I feel like that Ophelia song, the first track on the album, I feel like it kind of sounds like a Lorde Maggie Rogers mix, which I'm not mad at all. Like, it feels like an album that I would like put on a road trip or like in the background to like really feel myself. It's not like I'm going to the club and shaking my ass type of thing.
But she never promised the Shaking Your Ass album. I too thought we were getting a Shaking Your Ass album, but people just saw Showgirl, saw the orange glitter and thought we were getting one. But Showgirls, famously the movie, and I don't know if she did this, Showgirls, famously the movie ends with like a Beethoven 2 scene. So like it's not about shaking your ass. Showgirls is gritty.
Yeah, and we're saying the same thing because I do think
No,
I like
yeah.
the album so far.
I too thought we were getting a Shaking Your Ass song,
Yeah.
and we didn't.
Now, I do want to take a moment while Eldest Daughter is trending.
Yes.
I really want to encourage everybody to go listen to another Eldest Daughter song by Isabella Pless, and that song has wrecked me. It was one of my recommendations like several months ago because her whole album is just like a direct assault against me, really, of feeling very seen and heard. But if you're an eldest daughter and you're feeling yourself with Taylor Swift's new album, I can't recommend Eldest Daughter by Isabella Pless enough.
So you have nothing to say about Taylor Swift's song?
I feel like I've spoken out of turn enough.
Oh, okay.
And I can only handle so much negative comments in the DMs, but I will say that it feels like a watered down version of things that have been said better by other people.
Someone did, and again, this isn't either of us that said it. I'm just reading what I read someone else say. Someone else said that sometimes her lyrics seem like she's using SEO verbs, so like that it comes up in search engine searches. So like, oh, people are talking about being an eldest daughter a lot. I'll write a song about it.
Yeah, I do feel like sometimes I'm curious about what her perspective about a subject actually is. And I feel like her best songs are the ones that you can really tell she has lived through and experienced. Like the one from her last album about her crying but being happy like it's her birthday. Like that song, I'm like, oh yeah, this woman has just toured the entire world in 2 years and done things that like nobody else has done in this business and completely changed the landscape and is so burnt out and exhausted. I felt there was a trueness to that.
Yeah, which, by the way, when I told my family finally about my divorce, my cousin sent me that song, and I already knew the song. But she was like, this speaks to you. You kept it a secret and cried on your own so that everyone could celebrate their own stuff. Like, look at me. My first fan edit, and I'm not even on Big Brother yet.
Yeah. Elliot in the comments says, I get Stevie Nicks vibes from it. Yes. I think that when I was thinking of Maggie Rogers, I think Maggie Rogers gives me that same vibe.
I'm going to buy
like
one of those things.
Vibe.
What's it called? A poncho?
Like caftan?
Yes, yeah.
You're going to be in town on Monday. You can borrow one of mine.
Of course you have more than one.
I have several.
Okay, let's get into Big Brother.
Okay. So I'm here to talk about the season finale of Big Brother. Enough time has passed. We're going to be spoiling things. So if you have not watched or somehow you've avoided all the spoilers, don't listen.
If you're not watching a reality show finale on the night it airs, then I don't know what to tell you.
So our baby girl, Ashley, she took it. I was so happy.
So happy. It almost made it a boring finale because like at one point, about halfway in, it became obvious that she was going to win. And we still had like an hour left.
Yeah, I always thought we were living in a world where Morgan was going to take Ashley or Vinny would continue to be a worm and betray his allies by taking Ashley. I knew that we were getting Ashley in the finale, but I never anticipated it would be on her own merit.
I didn't think it would be on her own merit. And I didn't think Vince would win because if Morgan and Vince were going against each other, Morgan was going to win. So I always imagined Morgan and Ashley. Morgan and Ashley is what I envisioned the final two would be. And in that world, Morgan, I think, would sweep. She won like the back half of the season. And even though Ashley had more friends in the house, I think if you're looking at like a gameplay, I do think Morgan did more. In quotes.
In quotes. Yeah. Now, Vince having his total meltdown before we get to the finale.
Joyful
and haunting.
Haunting,
and there was a part of me, I mean, I was truly eating it up, and I love nothing more than a man realizing how much he thought of himself and how little he actually is. To go back to Taylor Swift, the smallest man in the world, etc. But also, there was a part of me that was like, uh-oh. If you're beating yourself up this much now, you're in for a rude awakening when you leave this house and realize that America hates you.
Well, he said that to Morgan, and he even just went to Jory. He didn't even mean the
audience.
World. Yeah. But he said, like, I do not want to leave this house because I'll be walking out into a Jory where everybody hates me. He said, I'm not going to win this show, and I'm going to be walking into an audience where, like, everybody is glad I didn't win.
Yeah, so he put on his best Patagonia pullover and went to that finale.
Don't let him trick you. He's saying that, oh, I never thought I would make it to the finale. I never thought, whatever. I don't care what people think about me. No, baby girl. You're unemployed and live on your mom's couch. That's the nicest thing you own. Like, you can rewrite it any way you want, but let's be real.
Yeah, well, Vince is a nice guy. He's the same guy that's like, I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. And it's like, if you have to say something over and over again, it's not actually probably true, because if you were just a nice guy, you would just be nice and people would be like, what a nice guy.
Show us, don't tell us.
Yes, I feel like that's the same with him anytime he's like, I don't care what people think. He like goes back and forth between being like, this is my game, I don't care, and then like crying little baby tears and like being the victim. And that was my problem with him all season, is I love a villain and I love a skis ball villain if they know what they're doing. And I wish he had just leaned in and been like, yeah, I've betrayed every single person that I was working close with. Like, he literally has the mustache for it. Just twirl it up and just go full cartoon villain.
I agree. Right now, there's nobody that likes Vince, like, in the world. I think if he would have done that, he would have at least had some people. Like, I do think Big Brother audiences as a whole have went on a weird, like, moral high ground thing where they don't really like villains anymore. But I think there are still people who've been watching it for 20 years, exactly, and like us, that, like, get joy from a TV villain. And like, he would have had a weird niche subsect of followers that were like, oh my God, Vinny, king of the world, we love you. But now just everybody hates him.
Yeah, I feel like, and this is really weird because their personalities are completely different, but I almost feel like Jasmine from Big Brother, like he could have gotten like that cohort of people once again that like loved her chaos and like the fact that her game was just about kind of like manipulation, but not in the way that we're supposed to be manipulating.
Yeah.
I feel like he could have gone that way. But yeah, people are like mad about Ashley winning because they're like, she did nothing. And I feel like it's almost more impressive to me that she was able to do what she did because she did have so few items on her resume. Like, it truly was all a social game, which is like a huge part of this specific show.
I agree. I think when Big Brother came out, we didn't have a lot of competition reality shows to choose from. So, like, you understood what the game was. But now so many competition shows are competition-based that, like, those audiences are finding Big Brother, especially because of Traitors. Because now we have Johnny Bananas and Trishelle and CT on it. And then they're like, oh, let me check out Big Brother. And then you do. And you're like, well, Ashley lost every competition. Why is she in the final two against someone that won every competition? Because this isn't the challenge.
Yeah.
Morgan will probably be on the challenge.
Yeah,
Kiana will probably
crush
be
it.
on the challenge. Ashley's never going to be on the challenge, nor should she be.
Yeah, that's true. It's almost like the opposite of all the newcomers that came to Traitors from like Bravo shows who were like so mad about the CT Trishelle thing, which was amazing television, and they were playing the game.
Yeah.
But then it's like that subsect of people being like, that's unfair. And it's like, no, that was a brilliant gameplay. Like, this made the finale better. So I guess in conclusion, we're just right with our opinions.
Always. And I also think a big part of it, and here we go. We already triggered Swifties. Now we're going to trigger this audience. Julie Chen was on Radio Andy the other day and like talking about the finale, talking about whatever. And the back half of the season, I don't think I'm making this number up, but I might be. The back half of the season went up 37% in viewership from the first half and had the highest Big Brother watchers since like 2019 or something.
Wow.
So they were like trying to think about, what do you think that is? What do you think that is? And Julie said, I think when Love Island ended, those audience members that watched something every single night needed something new to watch. So they came and checked out what Big Brother was about. So now we already know how dedicated, we'll say, the Love Island audiences are.
Sure.
So now they're taking that energy and putting it into a show they don't know anything about.
I'm here as I've only watched like 4 seasons now of Big Brother. I am new to the game, and so I always defer to you for the herstory of the franchise because I'm new to it. But I do have to say, for the pushback of people being like, Ashley was a floater, I think ironically, on this season with Rachel, who coined floaters grab a life jacket or whatever, I feel like this whole season was a season of floaters. So if you don't want a floater to go to the end, I feel like she was the queen of the floaters because nobody, and I know I'm a broken record, I said this all season as we were covering it, but nobody had that like old school alliance loyalty. So, of course, I feel like in a season where nobody valued loyalty, it should be the person who was objectively best at floating should have gone to the end.
Also, I think the edit didn't help her case because I don't think she was a floater, but I think what the casuals, which are what we call people who don't watch live feeds, I think what they saw did make her look like a floater because it was such a Morgan and Vinny and Keanu heavy edit that like Ashley wasn't getting any credit for what she was doing. But every time she knew that she was
on the outs.
Yeah, she like made a new alliance. She was the one that put the judges together.
Yeah, that's true. And she was really good at reading people. Like, she was the first one to clock Mickey when Mickey was speaking out of turn, and Ashley was like, oh, don't love this. Doesn't feel like you have my best interest in mind. Like, let me pivot and go the other way. Now, there's also been a lot of mess. I haven't kept up as much as you. You've been sending me things. So can you walk us through, like, this is a season full of floaters, perhaps, and a season full of messy, petty people.
Well, post-season drama is always my favorite about Big Brother. And I do wish we had like a chat in Patreon where like people were very active throughout the season, like talking about their opinions. And then it kind of died off as soon as the finale happened. And I'm like, you are not getting the best content here. You have to stay after the credits. This is a Marvel movie. You're missing the best part. So first of all, Vince was spotted by like real paparazzi in a parking lot with Kelsey, his girlfriend. And like it looked tense. We don't know what's happening.
And again, my whole theory about him through this whole season is I'm like, I know Vince. I have experienced Vince. Vince is the type of person who his whole life has been able to say something enough times that he convinces people. He's clearly always been a skis-ball and a liar and a manipulator, but when you're not being recorded, you can go to a bar and tell a girl like, oh no, my girlfriend's totally cool with whatever's going on here. And I feel like his response throughout the whole like finale cycle of just doubling down, and even in all those post interviews being like, nope, me and my girlfriend are totally fine. We're totally fine. We're great. We're good. We're good. We're fine. I'm fine. I have a girlfriend. It's just like, Vince,
I know.
Like, we just watched 4 months of you 24/7. You can't just speak something and make it true anymore because you've been recorded. And she's been very vocal that she is not fucking with you.
I know. And yeah, she didn't send him one letter the whole season. Like, it was obvious.
Yeah.
But do you remember the cookout season 23, when like the season ended and half the cookout didn't go back home? They just lived with Todrick Hall. Well, it was very refreshing to see that people are going home now. Like, the finale was Sunday night. They went and partied, whatever, had a little house party after the actual like club party. And then Keanu was back wherever he lives at the airport by noon the next day. I was like, I forgot what it was like for people to just go home.
Yeah.
Because that was my problem with the cookout season 23, is that like the first 3 days we had the mess. We had people doing Instagram lives talking ill of each other, and it was great. And then we went on to 3 months and people still weren't home.
Well, it's kind of like Las Vegas. You always wish that you had cut your trip short one day. You know, you'd go home feeling better about yourself and your choices if you just went home.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But they did have a little house party here. And what I like about this season is that, like, kind of how they felt in the house is still how they're feeling now. A lot of times they're like, oh, no, it was nothing personal. Like, we can get to know each other outside of the house. But, like, how they felt in the house is still how they feel now. And Zach has said repeatedly, like, he is not going to follow Morgan. He thinks she's weird. She kept his toothbrush out of the trash. Like, he was like, I have no interest in seeing her again. Mickey has said she blocked Morgan. So like at these house parties, there were like 3 separate ones because these people really did refuse to like hang out.
I know. This, I feel like, would be a good cast if they were to do like an all-star season. And I don't, no offense, but I don't need to see Lauren ever again. I don't need to see certain people ever again, but like to pull in some of the people who have feuds to do like a redo season, because they are still super messy.
And I don't know where this came from, but like a lot of Big Brother alumni of old seasons, like Xavier from season 23, he's a lawyer now and like doesn't really do Big Brother stuff, but like even he is saying like, I think what Big Brother is missing is a reunion. Maybe 6 months after, maybe a year after, like before the new season starts, we have a reunion of the season prior. But he said, I think it would bring in ratings. ratings, obviously. And also, like, it is kind of the healing that the Big Brother players need because they never get a place besides Instagram Lives or cameos or TikToks, whatever. They don't get a place to, like, air out. They get to watch this season and then do nothing with this information that these people lied to them all summer or, like, talked ish about them all summer.
Yeah. And you know, what I'm about to say is going to be so shocking and off-brand.
I agree with it, though, because I feel like I know.
I think we don't need Andy Cohen to be leading the reunion. I think Jerry O'Connell.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Andy. But no, Jerry would be great.
Because he is a Big Brother super fan. He drives me bonkers. But the most I've ever liked him was when he filled in for Julie when she had COVID last season. So I feel like he would be a great person. He would bring that Andy energy of, like, you know, dabbling between questions that's like, hey, Ramona, tell us about your new boobs. And then being like, oh, Tinsley, you are having infertility issues. Tell us about that. Like, I just feel like we could go back and forth. And yes, the Housewives, is it therapy on those reunions? No. But do we end up sometimes with a group hug? Sure.
Yeah. And I do think it does need to be someone that is going to, like, stir the pot and, like, dig into the mess a little. We don't need Julie Chen doing it. But at one of the house parties, it was, like, all the people I don't like Zach, Catherine, Lauren, Riley was in the house somewhere else, not on the live, like those people. Zay, Ashley was there. And they did an Instagram Live where people were like, hey, Ashley, you forgot this. You didn't know that so-and-so won Love Island this summer. You don't know Taylor Swift's album's coming out. Right. Here's everything you need to know about this summer. But they were also like, did you know Morgan took Zach's toothbrush? And then one of the things was like, how do you feel about Riley being a father? And on Instagram Live, she's like, Riley's a father? And everybody just, like, looked at her like that. Because
I watched that clip
it's so
100 times because it's one of those pieces of cinema where you can watch a different person every time. My personal favorite was Zach, who goes, oh, yeah. Like, where it's like he has so much to convey, and he's like, oh, yeah, you don't even know what's happening.
But then he says he's in the other room.
Yeah.
Also, Morgan, famously not at that party because nobody wants to talk to her because she picks toothbrushes out of the garbage. She took a picture with Cam from last season. Shout out to my dogs in the crib. I need them to get together immediately.
Okay.
They looked so good together. And we already know from her podcast that she wants someone.
To peg.
Yeah, she loves to peg and she wants someone to send her a dildo.
And as people started pulling those clips, maybe it's an unpopular take. I think that most people were pulling those clips to, like, poke fun.
It made me like her.
Yeah, I wish we had gotten that version. Similar to people are pulling Lauren's social media persona, and they're like, you can't be mad at Big Brother for casting her because this is what she's like online, and it's her being, like, you know, sassy on TikTok. But you and I know better than most. People's personas on TikTok aren't always their personas in real life.
They aren't. They aren't. One more thing about all of that, because Noor had the same issue. Well, Noor doesn't know because she's so new to Big Brother that, like, diary rooms weren't always like this. And, like, that's where I need editing to go back to what it used to be.
Right.
Because, like, I think if we got Morgan that is on the podcast talking about those things, we would have had more, maybe, interest in her. But, like, that is not the person we got because the diary room is, as much as I hate to say it, very scripted now.
It's somebody saying, like, how do you feel about that? Wait, say it again? Maybe mention this thing that they did.
But also I feel like the diary room is so formulaic to be about what is happening in the competitions. Like, I walk into the backyard and there's a big pasta tray. Like that. Like, I don't care about that. I want to know that Rachel looked like she had a saggy butt walking out to the pasta tray. You know?
I almost wish they would do it like the diary room on Jersey Shore, or now Jersey Shore Family Vacation, where they have the option and the opportunity to, because I know they get called into the diary room and there's a producer that's going to be like, tell us about this, or how are you feeling about this? But I would love for them to also maybe have a separate diary room where they get to go in and just vent. And it's their choice to go in, or if something happens and they're like, I've got to tell my thoughts about this. Even if it was just for the live feeds.
Yeah.
Where it was just people in there, like, talking their real thoughts about things, or just being chaotic, or like two people going in together and being chaotic together, because they can't really do the double ones unless there's a reason, like they're stuck in a canoe together or whatever, without drawing attention. But if it was just people bored at 3 a.m. in the kitchen together going in and being crazy to the diary room, like I feel like we would get some of those more like authentic personality moments.
I agree.
Yeah.
So that's it for this season. Starting next Friday, I will be on The Reality Is every Friday, and we'll be covering season 6 as if it's currently on. So 1 week of gameplay every Friday.
Love that.
Yeah.
So now let's move on to the cutie of the week.
Okay.
So I first want to say one of my cuties, I have two this week, one of my cuties, federal employees who are obviously going through it with the government shutdown. And one of the longtime listeners, Katie, was DMing me earlier today, and she was trying to figure out if there are any like mutual aid funds that we can donate to for the federal employees that are not working during the shutdown. And I know that like Westmore has posted a couple, but they don't really seem crowd-funded. And I also don't think federal employees can like crowdfund or crowdsource themselves. So if you have any resources, cuties, please slide into my DMs so that I can share them and we can try to help some people out. Now, all of that being said, my true cutie of the week is the very mean squirrel that has sent at least 2 people to the hospital in California City. This headline came with the warning poster with a squirrel jumping up. This is not a joke. More than 5 people have been attacked by a very mean squirrel over the past few days. And it's gotten to the point where the ASPCA has had to speak out, and they said, we've seen this kind of behavior before. It's almost always because someone has been feeding the animal. But lucky for us, I didn't know this, squirrels are not vectors for rabies. And so the ASPCA encourages everybody to never feed the wildlife. But I just love a sassy squirrel out there just biting people. We should all take a page out of that book.
We do. That's a beautiful thing to see. Mine is John Malkovich.
Huh.
So as you may or may not know, I think you know, they're doing the Hunger Games live on stage in the UK. Not a musical, just a play. Oh, yeah. And he was just cast as President Snow.
Oh, I love that. He'll be a great President Snow.
He will. Now, it does make me nervous. I don't know. I haven't seen the show, so I don't know. But he's only cast on a screen. Like, they're only going to have him on screen. But there are President Snow scenes not on a screen.
Right.
So then I was going to say, I think like maybe it's just all in the arena or all in the training thing, but it can't. You have to see Katniss at home and stuff.
Yeah, how weird.
But I'm excited. I hope it comes to Broadway. Right now it's just in the UK. UK cuties. You cuties. Now we'll work it.
Workshop that.
You cuties. Let us know if you see it and if it's good. And if so, maybe I'll visit. And on that note, that's the end.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday. Go listen to Taylor Swift. Tell us your favorite songs. If you liked this episode, please send it to someone else who might enjoy it. And we will talk to you later. Love you like a sister.